This is the full devastating story of Jurassic World Indoraptor. So the Indoraptor was made sometime between 2016 and June 2018 for the events of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and the Indoraptor is an absolute killing machine, but it is a prototype, remember that. The Indoraptor was created in a hidden laboratory in Lockwood Manor and had the Indominus Rex and Velociraptor DNA inside it. Now, he was a prototype and Dr. Wu was waiting for Blue's DNA so he could go on create a massive line of these Indoraptors which would obey commands. However, due to this being the prototype, it lacked any of the positive characteristic traits that Dr. Wu wanted, such as the ability to follow orders, show empathy and bond with the trainer and handler. Thus, that's why Blue was required. In concept art images, the Indoraptor was supposed to have been shown being physically abused, much like an animal with several scars littering his body. The abuse was hinted at throughout the film and teased multiple times, especially during the auction scene. This could also explain why the hybrid smiles just as it's about to harm its prey, much like the mercenaries did when it was harming the Indoraptor. Originally, there was going to be another Indoraptor, much like where the Indominus Rex had a sibling. The Indoraptor was going to have a sibling as well, a white sibling. It was going to be very similar to the Indominus Rex storyline, where the Indominus Rex killed his sibling. They were going to have the Indoraptor kill its sibling, and thus only being one. This was later cut from the movie. Like the Indominus Rex, the Indoraptor actually possesses hands with 4 fingers, an opposable thumb, and 3 main digits. This enabled it to move and manipulate objects with ease, much like a human, and make it an excellent climber, as we see in Fallen Kingdom. The Indoraptor also exhibits night vision, allowing him to perform well regardless of the time of the day or lighting condition he's pushed into. The Indoraptor also has echolocation to track his prey in the dead of night. The individual seen in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom was the only confirmed male. Like his predecessor, the Indominus, he was cunning and sadistic. Like the Indominus Rex, the Indoraptor killed for pleasure as much as he did for food. He enjoyed toying with his prey before delivering the killing blow. However, the Indoraptor could be considered more sympathetic, as unlike Indominus Rex, who was neglected and only had the feeding crane to form a positive relationship with, the Indoraptor was outright abused throughout his life in order to enhance its killing instincts. This may also indicate that the Indoraptor killed not for sport, but because it had been conditioned to do so. The Indoraptor is one of the most non-human intelligent animals ever created, and is seen where it actually fakes its own sedation to trick one of the mercenaries so he could hunt him in its cage. An extremely clever and extremely intelligent animal seen in just this scene alone. The Indoraptor was actually created as a weapon and shown to attack on command through visual and audio frequency, which drove him into a frenzied state, much like the Atrociraptors in Jurassic World Dominion. But alas, Indoraptor's story isn't all brutality and gore and killing. Indoraptor was definitely abused throughout its life cycle. It was made sometime between 2016 and 2018. We know it had accelerated growth, but it was actually abused through its entire life, as seen by the scars, the emotional trauma. It was kept in cages, and it was physically and mentally abused since it was created, which created this unstable behavior and this unstable mindset, which is actually quite sad for an animal to be kept purely in a little caged box, constantly prodded, attacked, electrocuted, purely for this military purpose. The Indoraptor was bred after June 2016 and fully mature by June 2018, thus showing a huge accelerated growth, and suggested it reached full maturity in less than 2 years alone. This is faster than the maturation rate of Indominus, which matures somewhere between 3 years. Lots of people speculated about it on Manticorp Island. By the time the first Indoraptor was created, Manta Corporation had already run into issues with its facility. They never had the opportunity to create the Indoraptor there, despite how tempting this would have been for the company administration. That's never to say that they never had any files or data. It is possible that Manticorp could have had the information and files to create their own. It just never materialized. Well, not yet anyway. Muhahaha. There is also some evidence that failed attempts had occurred before creating the Indoraptor. It is possible that at least one other individual was raised to maturity with success, but only one Indoraptor was confirmed to be alive as of June 23, 2018. However, Henry Wu and Eli Mills did have plans to create more in the future. What is extremely interesting about the Indoraptor is it did not flee the estate even when presented with the opportunity to do so. Instead, it remained on the property. The Indoraptor, being a prototype, lacked any of the positive characteristics Wu wanted to create in him. He lacked the ability to follow orders, and other than his conditioning to visual and audio cues, lacked any of the positive personality traits seen in Blue, such as her ability to show empathy and bond with the trainer or handler. As such, Blue was required to form part of the finalized Indoraptor design, as she was needed to act not only as the DNA source, but also the mother figure for the next generation of the Indoraptors to imprint on. But alas, the prototype Indoraptor was never completed and was actually killed by Blue at the end of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which leaves a bit of a huge gap. What actually happened to that Indoraptor body? Was it recovered by Dr. Wu and his cronies, or was it actually recovered by the government? The body of the Indoraptor is still actually unknown for its whereabouts and what happened to the DNA. It could quite easily have been taken by a third party or Wu himself, although Wu unlikely because we see him in Dominion, but it could have been taken by a third party, especially with all the interest at the auction scene. Everybody wanted to get their hands on the Indoraptor, and with that body there would have been a huge chance to do so. Some third party could have easily have taken that body, taken it somewhere else, and cloned the Indoraptor for their own bidding, and even potentially created another prototype or a finalized version. We know this to be somewhat true because we have the Atrociraptors, because in 2022 Jurassic World Dominion came out, and with it we had the Atrociraptors exhibiting some of the Indoraptor technology with the track and trace laser audio cues, where much like the Indoraptor they would fire a laser / audio cue on a target and it would track them down in a frenzy. This was the technology used in the Indoraptor's creation, which we see at the auction scene and we see used on Owen Grady for the Indoraptor to attack them. That must show some form of technological advancement from the Indoraptor, or that they used that technology in their Atrociraptors. The Indoraptor is the third and final chronological entry for the hybrids. First was E750, the Scorpius Rex, which was way before the Indominus Rex. The Indominus Rex was second, which was 2016, and the Indoraptor was born sometime after June 2016 and made his first appearance in 2018. So chronologically, the Indoraptor was the last hybrid to feature in a Jurassic World movie, and the last hybrid that we know of. Lots of people also speculated that the Indoraptor could have contained some human DNA. This was later confirmed by Colin Trevorrow that the DNA makeup of the Indoraptors does not include any human DNA. Me personally, I absolutely love the Indoraptor, and I do believe there is some potential to us to see this in the future. And if you want to know about that with all evidence of the new Jurassic World show, check out this video here. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to give it a like, don't forget to subscribe. I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members. Thank you very much, guys. Your help is really appreciated, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Go watch my other stories. Cheers now. Bye bye.